Review for Chapter 5, Form B. So we're going to be doing a review for chapter exam. Chapter 5, we're going to cover the full 19 problems. So problem number 1, they're asking you to find the LCD between, the LCM, the least common multiple between 12 and 45. So how are we going to do problem number 1? If they're asking you to find the LCD, all we need to do is to factor each of them. So this 12 is going to be a 3 times 4, and this 4 should be a 2 times 2. So we're done there. Let's do 25. 25 should be 5 times 5. Now to find my LCM, I need to pick one list. So I will decide to pick this list here. I'll pick 3 times 2 times 2. And I have to make sure that this 5 times 5 is already included here. Do I have a 5 times 5 here? I don't have a 5 times 5. So I must add a 5 times another 5. Therefore, my LCD will be 3 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. Let's recall what was this 3 times 2 times 2. That was a 12, and this 5 times 5 is a 25. Let's find out what's 12 times 25. 12 times 25. 5 times this is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Leave a space. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. We add this, is going to be 300. Therefore, your LCD will be 300. Problem number 2. In problem number 2, they're asking you to find the LCD between 16, 28, and 21. So let's factor them. This 16 could be a 4 times 4. This 4 could be a 2 times 2. And this 4 is another 2 times 2. What about the 28? This 28 I can write as a 4 times a 7. This 4 could be a 2 times 2. And bring this 7 down. 21 should be 3 times 7. Now let's pick one list to write my LCM. So my LCM will be, let's pick the longest one, which is this list here. So I'm picking the 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And I have to make sure that this 2 times 2 times 7 is already included here. Well, I have a pair of 2 here, so I don't have to add any 2's. But what about the 7? I don't have a 7, so I should add that 7. Now all of this is already included here. 21. Do I have a 3 times 7 on my list? I don't. Therefore, I must add a 3 because the 7 was already there. Therefore, I have everything there. Now, let's do this hard part, which is multiply all of them. But let's recall this 2 times 2 times 2 was the 16. Well, 7 times 3, 7 times 3 is 7 times 3 is 21. Therefore, we just need to multiply 16 times 21. Let's do that work on the side. 16 times 21 should be 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1. Leave in a space. 2 times 2 is 12, carry a 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Therefore, our final answer will be, let's add this up, 633. Therefore, our LCM should be 336. That will be for problem number 1 and 2. Find the least common multiple of each group of the numbers. So be careful. Whenever you're going to be taking the test, you have to give one full number. If you give out the least, then your work is not done yet. So you have to give us one number for the LCM. The LCM will be, in this case for problem number 1, will be 300, and from problem number 2 will be 336. In problem number 3, they're asking you to add and simplify. So let's add and simplify. So we're gonna have to add 5 sevens plus 4 sevens. And let's recall once again that let's add this vertical. So it should be 5 over 7 plus 4 over 7. We keep our same denominator and we add the numerators. 5 plus 4 is 9. And look at this, 9 is a 3 times 3. And you have a 7 there. There is nothing that you cannot cancel. Therefore, my final answer should be the 4 times 7. I mean 9 times 9 over 7. That will be your final answer, because there was nothing that was able to be reduced. This should be our final answer. Now let's do number 4. Problem number 4, they're requiring you to add 4 over 15 plus 13 over 20 plus 2 over 3. Now what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, we have to align them vertically. Let's align them vertically. So it should be 4 over 15 plus 13 over 20 plus 2/3. So do they have the same denominator? Can we just add the numerator 4 plus 13 plus 2? We cannot do that. Therefore, we need to find the same denominator. We need to find the LCD or the LCM between 15, 20, and 3. How are we going to do that? Well, let me do that work on the side here, and let's see what will the LCD or LCM be for that. So I'm going to have a 15, 20, and 3. 15, 20, and 3. 15 is reading as 3 times 5. This 20 can be a 4 times 5. And this 4 itself is a 2 times 2. Bring the 5 down. Therefore, 20 could be 2 times 2 times 5. The 3 is itself just a 3. Therefore, let's find my LCM or my LCD. So, which is the same. So, LCD, LCM. Now, let's pick one of our lists. Maybe we pick the longest one here. So, it should be 2 times 2 times 5. And I gotta make sure that this 15, what makes the 15, this 3 times 5, is already included here. I only have a 5 and I'm missing a 3 here. Therefore, I must add that 3. So, times 3. Now I have everything here. Now, do I have these 3 here in my list? Yes, I already have a 3. Therefore, my LCD should be 2 times 2 times 5 times 3. Let's 2 times 2 times 5 was 20. So I should have a 20 times 3. And 20 times 3 is 60. Now, it means that we need to make every single number a 60. Every single denominator should be a 60. Like 15 times what number should give you 50? As I say in class, one of the ways that you could check what number times 15 times what number give you 16, you either divide 15 into 60, or since you did your LCD, you can check what numbers makes the 15. Well, the numbers that make the 15, it says here that it's 3 times 5. So if you take away that, if you get rid of this 5 and this 3, the numbers that you're left with is with 2 times 2. That means that 15 times 4 should be 60. So that's what you should multiply here. This times 4 and this times 4. To find an equivalent fraction, we multiply top and bottom. Then what will we obtain here? We'll obtain 4 times 4 is 16 over 60. We will do the same thing for the 20. 20 times what number give you 60? 20 times 3, you can see here that 20 times 3 give you 60. Therefore, or you can just cover the 3 here. If you cover the 3, you will find out it's 2 times 2 times 5, which is a 20. So 20 times 3 is 60. So I must multiply this part by 3 and this part by 3 to obtain 13 times 3 should be 39 over 60. I will do the same thing with the 3. 3 times 20 is 60. 3 times 20 is 60. Then 2 times 2 should be 40. And 40 over 60. See that now they have the same denominator. They all have 60 as the denominator. Therefore, you add the numerator. You add 16 plus 39 plus 40. You can do that work on the side. So let's see how will we do that. So it will be a 16 plus 39 plus 40. 9 plus 6 will be 15. We carry a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5, and a 4 will make 9. So that should be 95. So we'll have 95 over 60. Now, can we reduce this? Is this reduced to its lowest terms? Maybe. Let's find that out. So remember that 95 could be written as, so let me write here. So what we're left with is a 95 over 60. So that's what we're left with. So let's see if we can reduce this. 95 should be 5 times some number. So after you do your division, you find out that that's 5 times 19, and this 60 could be a 5 times 12. Recall that you can simplify in any way you like. So now I can cancel those 5's out, and I'm left with 1 and 1 there. Therefore 1 times 19 should be 19, and 1 times 12 should be 12. Therefore your final answer should be 12 over 19. You might say, wait, this is an improper fraction, so I can change that into a mixed numeral. Yes, you can do that. However, recall that an improper fraction can be simplified to its lowest terms as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be a mixed numeral to be reduced. Therefore 19 over 12 should be fine. Now if you decide to change this into a mixed numeral, then you can do that. You can say, oh, this, or after you have done your division, should be 1 and 7 12, but it's not required. Okay, so you can just leave it as an improper fraction, as long as you can see here that there was nothing else that could be reduced. So that will be for the problem number 4. Number 5, we need to add a few mixed numerals. Let's see how we can do number 5. So let's do problem number 5. So number 5, they're asking us to add and simplify. So that was a 3 and 7 12 plus 2 and 3 tenths. Recall that you have to align them vertical, so let's align them. So that will be 3 and 7 12 plus 2 and 3 over 10. We're adding them. However, they don't have the same denominator, so let's find the LCD between 12 and 10. What will that be? On the side, we need to do that work. 12 over 10. So let's do, 12 and 10. What would that be? 12 is 2 times 6, and this 6 itself is a 2 times 3. Now this 10 should be a 2 times 5. So my LCM or my LCD for this particular case should be, well, let's pick one list here. So that will be 2 times 2 times 3. Now, is this 2 times 5 included here already? Well, I have a 2, but I don't have a 5, so let's add that 5 there. So now I have that included. Therefore, my LCD is 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. This part here was the 12. 12 times 5 should be 60. So your LCD should be 60. Means that every single denominator here you must make a 60, or write an equivalent fraction with denominator 60. 12 times what number should that be? 12 times, we can clearly see that was 12 times 5 60. So it's 12 times 5. If I do times 5 in the denominator, I must do the same thing on top. Therefore, what I'm left with? Well, with the 3 whole numbers we didn't do anything, so I keep my 3. 7 times 5 is 35, and 12 times 5 is 60. Now plus, well, I didn't do anything to the 2. However, this 10 must multiply times 6 top and bottom, and I will have 3 times 6, which is 18. Should be 18 over 60. Now let's add them up, because they have the same denominator, so we can just add them up. You can do the 35 plus 18 on the side, or you can just do it mentally. So let me do it on the side. 35 plus 18 should be, carry a 1, 53. So that was a 53 over 60. 2 plus 5, 2 plus 3 is 5. Therefore, your final answer should be 5 and 53 over 16. However, is this reduced to its lowest terms? Have we finished reducing this? Is this reduced? Well, recall that this part should not be an improper, and this is not an improper fraction, so far so good. But reduce, is this reduced to its lowest term? I believe that 53 is a prime number, due to the fact that it's an even number. It's not an even number, so it's not divisible by 2. How about by 3? Will this be divisible by 3? 5 plus 3 is 8, so that's not a multiple of 3. So I believe this was a prime number. You can try the 7, the 11, and you will find out that there is nothing that goes into there. And the only things that can go into there, well, the numbers that multiply 60 are 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And this is definitely not a divisible by 2, and it's definitely not divisible by 3, because we just checked the divisibility rule, and it's not divisible by 5. Therefore, this is your final answer. Let's keep adding this. So number 6 we have 25 and 1522 plus 43 and 25 over 33. Let's add them up, but first of all, to add them up we need to align them vertically. So let me put the whole numbers first. 25 and 15 over 22 and 43 and 25 over 33. Let's add them up. However, I cannot just add the numerator because these denominators are not the same. Therefore, let's find the LCD between 22 and 23 and 33. 22 should be 2 times 11, and this 33 should be 3 times 11. My LCM should be, well, let's pick one list, LCM or LCD in this case, 2 times 11. We gotta add, well, I have 3 times 11. Do I have all of this inside? No, I'm missing a 3. Therefore, multiply times 3. Now I can check this out. So I have 3 times 11 included in my list. And recall that 2 times 11 was a 22. And I have 22 times 3 should be 66. So your LCD, or the least common denominator between them, is 66. Now 22 times what number give you 66? That should be times 3. If I multiply times 3 on the bottom and multiply times 3 on top, therefore I'm left with, I didn't change that 25, so I keep my 25, and I do 15 times 3 should give you 45 over 22 times 3 is 66. That was what we wanted. Now 33 times what is gonna give us a 66? Well, the 33 is made out of 11 times 3, and we can clearly see that it's times 2 that will give you the 66. Therefore, it's going to be 33 times 2 top and bottom, and we will obtain 43, and well, 25 times 2, like 2 quarters makes 50, right? So that should be 50 over 66. And then we're adding them. Now they have the same denominator, so we can just add this top bar. So 45 plus 50 will make 95. 95 over your same denominator, 66. And then we add this part. 5 plus 3 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. So our answer should be this. However, our answer must be simplified. The first thing you want to check is this an improper fraction? Yes. If it's an improper, then I must change to a mixed numeral. Let's see how I can reduce that. So I'm probably going to leave one space here, and I'm going to have to do this division. 66 divided into 95. I believe that only goes once. 1 times 66 gives you 66. Subtract that. We have to do some borrowing part there. This becomes 8, this becomes 15. 15 minus 6 is gonna be 9. 8 minus 6 is 2, so it's 29. So what are we left with is 1 and 29 over 66. But this 66 was made out of 2 times 11 times 3, and this 29 is a prime number, so there is nothing else to cancel out. Therefore, now we can go back to the problem where we had this improper fraction here that is reduced to its lowest term, because remember that this part must also be reduced. Is this reduced? Yes. If this was eventually, let's say that was 24 over 66, then probably you had to reduce like let's say 6 times 4 and the other is 6 times 11, and you had to take away the 6. Okay, but this was not the case. 29 is a prime number, so you didn't have to do this part here. Okay, so let's go back to the problem, and instead of writing this 99 over 66, what are we going to have? We're going to have a 1 and 29 over 66. But don't forget that you have the 68 in front, so that 68 and the 1 should make a 69. So my answer should be 69 and 29 over 66. That should be your final answer. And this is now reduced to its lowest terms, and it's, as we say, is simplified. A mixed numeral, to be simplified, should not have an improper fraction. So whenever you're adding, you want to check for two things: that this mixed numeral here does not have an improper. If it has an improper, then what you do here is you divide it and you find out what this mixed numeral is. But recall that the mixed numeral as well should have the part here reduced. So 29 over 66, they don't have anything in common. After you do factorization, you find out that you cannot cancel anything else. Then we go back to the problem here and check it out. 95 over 66 was actually the 1 over 29 over 66, and this one with the 68 added together should be 69 and give our 29 over 66. Okay, so the hardest part in this particular chapter is to find the correct LCD, LCM. If you need more help on the LCM, make sure you review that in chapter 5.2.